It hasn't exactly been a secret in the paddock that Haas driver Mick Schumacher is unlikely to stay with the team after his contract expires at the end of this year. Despite being in his second year of racing, the son of legendary 7-time world champion Michael Schumacher has fallen short of expectations and has consistently trailed his teammate. And now, according to an inside source, his time as a member of the Ferrari Driver Academy is coming to an end, as is any potential leverage and security that comes with it. In this video, we'll look into those claims, as well as who is likely to replace him at Haas and where the German will go next year. So buckle up. According to motorsport.com, Schumacher's original Ferrari Driver Academy contract will come to a natural end after this season. Unsurprisingly, the Scuderia have been cautious with their words, at least in public. When contacted by the media, a Ferrari spokesperson stated, "Mick is part of the FDA family and we never give away details about our driver's contract. We are monitoring his season and will decide together what is best for him later in the season." Michael's son first joined the FDA in 2019 and was expected to follow in his father's footsteps and drive in Formula One for the Scuderia one day. However, Mick Schumacher's stock has steadily declined since securing his first Formula One opportunity with Haas in 2021, to the point where he may find himself without a seat on the 2023 grid. During the summer break, it was reported that Haas had frozen contract talks with Schumacher for next season after a potential opportunity at Aston Martin was closed by Fernando Alonso's surprise move from Alpine to replace the retiring Sebastian Vettel. Another source of concern for Schumacher was the announcement by Haas that Antonio Giovinazzi, formerly of Alfa Romeo and still Ferrari's reserve driver, a role he shares with Mick, would be given 2 FP1 appearances between now and the end of the season. Giovinazzi has done similar work for Haas before, having completed 7 FP1 sessions for the American team in 2017. The Italian is thus considered the favorite for the Haas seat, with it widely assumed in the paddock that Schumacher will not return to Haas for a third season. Alpine and Williams are the 2 remaining open seats on the grid, with Schumacher's close friend Esteban Ocon supporting him as a candidate for the former. He has also been linked to an AlphaTauri seat, though Colton Herta has emerged as a more likely candidate should one become available. There is a chance that Schumacher will be replaced in the driver market in the coming days, leaving Germany with no representative on the 2023 grid unless Nico Hülkenberg is promoted to a driver role at Alpine or any other team, which is not impossible. Schumacher was announced as a member of the Ferrari Driver Academy at the beginning of 2019, after winning the European F3 Championship the previous year. As a result, he joined a formidable squad that included Callum Ilott, Marcus Armstrong, Robert Schwartzman, and Enzo Fittipaldi. The team emphasized that at the time that his father Michael's connections with Ferrari were not the driving force behind the decision to take him, and that he'd earned FDA approval on merit. Team principal Mattia Binotto stated at the time, "For someone like me who has known him from birth, there's no doubt that welcoming Mick into Ferrari has a special emotional meaning, but we have chosen him for his talent and the human and professional qualities that have already distinguished him despite his young age." In April 2019, he had his first F1 test in the SF90 in Bahrain, followed by a second outing for Alfa Romeo the next day. In 2019 and 2020, he raced for the Prema F2 team with Ferrari support, winning the title in his second season. In September, he logged more F1 miles in the 2018 SF71H at Fiorano, ahead of his first FP1 run with Alfa Romeo at the Nürburgring. However, due to inclement weather, he did not take place. In Abu Dhabi, he finally had his first FP1 session with Haas. The Ferrari connection aided his advancement to a Haas seat in 2021, and after a frustrating season in an uncompetitive car, he remained with the team this season. Despite a string of misfortunes, he earned his first points with an 8th place finish at Silverstone, followed by a 6th place finish in Austria. However, the facts cannot be denied, with the German scoring only twice in 35 starts. Schumacher was once considered a potential works driver, but his popularity has dwindled dramatically as of late. And with Charles Leclerc and more recently Carlos Sainz signing to long-term contracts, it is clear that Schumacher will not be racing at the works team. Furthermore, Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu have established themselves at Ferrari partner team Alfa Romeo, with the Chinese driver set to be confirmed soon for 2023. While all indications point to Schumacher being a free agent in 2023, with no official ties to Ferrari, there are still opportunities for Mick to secure a place in the F1 grid elsewhere, albeit increasingly slim. Current driver Esteban Ocon has already expressed his enthusiasm for a move to Alpine, though it is widely reported that Pierre Gasly is Alpine's first choice once the ongoing saga with Oscar Piastri and McLaren is resolved. Speaking of the Woking team, Mick's good friend and mentor Sebastian Vettel has also suggested McLaren as a possible destination for the 23-year-old, but there is no indication that McLaren has shifted their focus away from making Piastri the man to replace Daniel Ricciardo, who himself could be a target for both Alpine and Haas. Mick Schumacher's clearest path could be with Williams alongside Alex Albon, with Nicholas Latifi making it more difficult for the Grove-based team to keep him for another season despite the significant financial backing he brings. Then there's the possibility that the 23-year-old will be forced to retire from Formula One. Not much has been heard from figures around the paddock about the situation, with the exception of ex-F1 driver Timo Glock, who recently shared his thoughts and is skeptical that Schumacher will miss a seat for next year. His chances of staying in F1 are still very good. He has shown an upward trend in the past few races. After the knot burst and he scored his first points, he has had a very good run. He got a lot out of his package. While Alpine was thought to be Schumacher's next stop due to his friendship with Ocon, it appears that option is dwindling by the minute. Glock, however, believes the French team would be the best fit for Schumacher. If he can make a leap to a team like Alpine, then that would of course be ideal for him to take the next step, said the German. Then there's Alfa Romeo, who, while have already stated that both drivers will be confirmed soon, do have some ties to Audi in the near future, potentially opening the door for a German driver to be seated there. Timo Glock agrees with the assertion and believes it could be a viable option for Schumacher. Alfa Romeo will eventually become Audi. It may well be that that becomes an option for him. That would of course be a dream scenario for the future. German manufacturer, German driver. And unsurprisingly, he also included Williams on the list. My feeling tells me that Mick could go in the direction of Williams, but of course it's difficult to say. Although not in the mix to offer him a race seat, Red Bull Motorsport advisor Helmut Marko may be the only one to decide Schumacher's fate. Everything hinges on his willingness to release Pierre Gasly. Alpine is said to prefer the Frenchman, with the team wanting an all-French lineup despite the past problems with their relationship. However, Marko has made it clear that Gasly will not be leaving AlphaTauri before the end of 2023. Of course, as it often does, it could all come down to money. If the Contract Recognition Board rules that Piastri is an Alpine driver, Alpine will seek compensation to allow him to race for his preferred team, McLaren. This compensation could be paid to Red Bull in order for Gasly to compete for Alpine. If that door closes on Schumacher, his realistic options are Haas, Williams, or bust, as AlphaTauri has a waiting list of drivers interested in Gasly's seat. Gunther Steiner has talked up Daniel Ricciardo a lot in the last week, possibly because he keeps getting asked about it, leading to rumors that the Australian has Haas's top choice. That leaves Williams. As Glock says, Williams is a good fit for Schumacher, or perhaps more accurately, Schumacher is a good fit for Williams. No one wants to be relegated to the back of the grid, but if it is his only option, Schumacher will take it. Sponsorship is what he brings, and sponsorship is something Williams always needs. But what does Schumacher himself have to say about it? In an interview with the media at the Belgian Grand Prix, Schumacher is surprisingly relaxed about his future, stating that nothing had been decided. I'm happy where I'm at the moment, and I'm sure that I'll share future plans as soon as I know. Of course, we've talked about it, and as soon as there is anything I want to announce, that will be announced. Ferrari has been such a big part of my growing up, not only in the recent years, but already before. It obviously has a very special place in my heart. But what do you guys think? Is Mick Schumacher going to be let go from Haas and the Ferrari Academy? If that's the case, where will he go? Is it possible that he won't even have a seat in 2023? Let us know in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing. It helps us out a lot.